I think for tennis players or also any other athlete, it's what people sometimes don't understand is that it's a 24-hour job. It's not only the time you put in practice. There are many people that I know that want to go pro, and they go out in the morning 9 to 11, play for 2 hours, then in the afternoon they might do another hour of tennis and fitness or whatever it might be, and then they think that's what they're doing to achieve the goal. But it's really when they then stay up until 2 a.m. and only get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, they don't get the full benefit of it. And the same with, they don't have the great nutrition, a good mindset, good goals. If you don't have anything aligned to that one specific goal, it's going to be hard to achieve with so many other people trying to achieve the same thing.
No rain. Hey folks, if you're wanting to get fit, healthy, athletic, today is the episode for you. Welcome back to the Naren Agarwal Show. Guys, today I have somebody who is young and talented. He is 21 years old. His name is Jason Hildebrandt. I wish I'm pronouncing it correctly. Jason is an Ivy League athlete. He plays tennis for his college at University of Pennsylvania. He has been a German national champion in the category of under 18. He has been a runner-up in the top 5 in singles, and under 16 back in 2015, he won in doubles in the whole nation of Germany. Guys, he also helps and consults for athletic performance. Speaking to me all the way from Hamburg, Germany, welcoming Jason on board. Jason, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Great introduction.
Hey,
Probably the best one I've ever heard.
You did. I'm not even lying out here. Jason, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm so happy that you're one of our first guests all the way from Germany doing a podcast for us and helping us go even more international. But Jason, you're a tennis player. You're into tennis. I have a question for you before anything else. Why is the scoring system in tennis flawed? You win. Then if you win the second time, you get 30. But after that, why isn't it 45? Why is it 40?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. And then with add and advantage back, and then at 6-all, you certainly stop that counting and you go to normal 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I know. It's weird.
Have you ever?
I think I've heard an explanation for it once, but I don't recall it. I just always accepted it.
Yeah, but like being, the under 18 German champion and even 16, and as you grow, do you think you're going to bring this up in the National Tennis Board, or is it a problem you think you should?
I don't know, man. It's a lot of tradition. I mean, they start redoing some of the scoring with like not playing as long and cutting down the 5th set. But I think that you're probably going to keep it. Unfortunately, I think especially for kids, it would be easier. Not as many people, like, I don't know, missing what the score is. But yeah.
That's just me and my joking style. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Jason, on a serious note, you're 21 now. You're at an Ivy League. You play tennis, and you have been in the top 5 in the top creme de la creme tennis players in your age category in Germany. Do you feel a sense of accomplishment already in your life? How does it feel to be someone that other 21-year-olds would look up to? What does it feel like? How do you process it?
Ooh, that's a deep question, man. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the first time I've heard that other 21-year-olds look up to me. Yeah, honestly, I think it's always about your own journey, I feel like I wouldn't compare myself to anyone, and I hope no one compares themselves to me. And yeah, I'm just like always focus on myself, focus on getting the better version of myself, not really looking left and right too much. And yeah, I would recommend that to anyone else too. But yeah, definitely. I mean, you have certain goals. For me, it was to play college tennis, then it was to to get into an Ivy League school, and then I have certain goals with that now. But yeah, whenever I hit these goals, of course, it's a great feeling of accomplishment and pride, definitely.
That's amazing, Jason, and it shows the kind of maturity you're living with. You know, when you speak about not comparing yourself to others and others comparing themselves to you.
Yeah, because I feel like everyone has their own path, and everybody comes from a different situation. So, I mean, for some people, they might not go to college and go on the pro circuit, or they just start a normal job, and everybody has their own interests and stuff. So I feel like there's not one correct path to go. Even if you have a similar goal in mind, you can go on a different way.
Amazing. Jason, they always say that, you know, it's a common notion that you got to pick between sports and education, right? You might have seen this everywhere. You know, you got to go pro, or you want to be really good at academics. It's really tough to balance both. But you're somebody who's made the best of both worlds, right? You've been in the top of your country at your certain age group. Now you're playing college level tennis at a D1 school, which is nationwide in the US. At the same time, you've managed to get into an Ivy League school, which are one of the most competitive schools in the US to get into. You're studying at University of Pennsylvania and studying psychology. So how do you think you were able to create this balance that most people struggle with or think it's tough?
Yeah, I think one thing is you have to have good time management skills, and also the environment. I mean, I had the luck that my mom always drove me around to practice and stuff. I had a parent who had the time, and also what I don't take any credit for, I have a lot of talent, which I'm blessed with. Can't take any credit for that, but that's definitely helped me, because growing up, I've never really practiced more than, I would say, 6 or 7 hours a week, while the competition was probably practicing more like 15 to 20. And yeah, just getting on with that, and luckily being able to hold the level of playing while not practicing that much, and focusing or delegating more time to school definitely helped with that. Because I think if you're working on tennis 20 hours a week, there's only a certain amount of time left for school, and either you're incredibly smart or you have great talent with tennis. But otherwise, I think it's really hard to get the time, to use the time in your day right to get both on a certain level.
Wow. So you said time management. What are some things that you do as a time management tactic to help balance both?
I think through that lifestyle, I always had like a my day was had a lot of structure, and that definitely helped me, like coming from school, then doing homework, then practice, and then that was always a good structure. Now in college, it's a little different, especially with online right now. Then you don't have as much structure in your day, but I think there are great things that you can do to keep that structure. Like now I picked up a good morning routine, waking up early, and then evening routine. That kind of gives a good structure for the day as well. So you have a certain level of productivity. Of course, there are some periods where you might do something else, and do something not as productive, like get into the rabbit hole of YouTube for an hour or so. But it definitely helps to plan out your day with a plan or something, just to get the main points of the day that you have to get done.
Oh, I so relate with you. I think this is the fundamental for success in any field, not just tennis, academics, business, anywhere. You know, a structured day. There's a concept in Ayurveda called dinacharya, how you live one day. And you know, like if you master one day, you really learn how to master a week, a month, a year, and a life. The mastery of the day is so important. And I love what you said, fixing a morning routine, fixing an evening routine, and giving structure to your day, being the master of the day. So let me ask you, what does a typical day for Jason look like?
Would you say in college or right now?
In college or right now with pandemic and Zoom classes
Yeah,
in Germany, managing college, what does a typical day look like?
I mean in college it would ideally be that I wake up early at around or somewhat early. I know you wake up a lot earlier than me, but somewhat around like 7:30. Then get a good morning routine, which usually is about like 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how much time I actually have. And then I might work out or get some schoolwork done because usually in the US classes start for my taste pretty late. Most of my classes don't start until 10 or 10:30. And then usually classes keep going from 10 to 1, 10:30 to 1:30. Then I get something quick to eat lunch, and practice goes from 2 to 5. And yeah, when I get home, getting home, shower, eat dinner, and then it's usually around 7 p.m. And then depending on the day, I might hang out with friends, do some something else fun, or have some more schoolwork to do. Yeah, and then already evening routine and repeat.
Nice. I like that. So do you ever eat breakfast?
Yeah, I do every day.
Okay. So is breakfast an important meal for you? Like they say for athletes, you must have 3 meals. Is that something that you follow yourself, or do you practice intermittent fasting, or is there a certain food routine that you practice for yourself as well?
I think intermittent fasting is really interesting. Um, just for me right now, because I had some trouble with injuries in the past, and I'm trying to build more muscle and gain some weight. And for that, of course, intermittent fasting might not be the best option for an athlete. But if I'm in a different phase of my diet, I actually enjoy it. I feel like I'm more clear, more productive. That's pretty good. But yeah, right now I'm just honestly it's hard for me to take in enough calories to gain weight, and therefore if I skip breakfast, that will be like even more difficult for me. So breakfast always helps me and also gives me energy. I think there's pros and cons with both of it, especially when you have like a practice in the morning.
Nice. Jason, who's your favorite athlete, and who do you really look up to, and why so?
Athlete. I thought you were gonna ask me tennis players, but I love that you made it broader for athletes. Honestly, probably Kobe Bryant. Um, might be a basic answer these days, but yeah, coming from Germany, I never really got in contact with his work too much. Basketball is not too big here, and it's hard to follow because it's not on TV. And of course, you've always heard the name. I knew that he was an outstanding athlete, but coming to the US and then also listening to some podcasts and interviews with him, seeing some old games, it's just he was just an impressive human being overall. Not only uh, with his games, but also with his lifestyle and everything he was doing and how he treated people. So he's really a role model in every sense. So yeah.
That's amazing, man. I definitely think Kobe is one of the top for me too. Even though I don't know basketball so much, but like exactly
Yeah,
the human being he was. If you listen to his talks, he's deep on another level. He's
yeah,
just a sportsman and an athlete.
definitely. Yeah.
Truly an icon. Wow, amazing to hear that. What about tennis player? Who's your favorite tennis player and why?
Uh, right now, probably Dominic Thiem. Uh, Dominic Thiem and Guy Monfils. Monfils mainly because he's a fun guy and really entertaining. And then Thiem is just also a really nice guy. Really, plays some impressive tennis and yeah, just really humble. I was lucky to meet him once, very briefly, but yeah, as a young kid, like 2 or 3 years ago, um, I actually played his brother in juniors, so I said hi to his brother at a tournament, and Dominic said hi to me as well, and that was a world to me that a pro player would say hi and be that kind. But he cared about his brother's old contacts or whatever you want to call it. So he was just seemed to be a really nice guy whenever he's in an interview.
That's awesome to hear. Listen, when it comes to your parents, what do they push you more towards? Do they push you more towards academics? Do they push you more towards tennis? Or what's their protocol behind, helping you decide on what to do and how to make life move?
Yeah. I think that's an interesting balance that I have here, which I'm really grateful for. My mom was always pushing me very hard towards academics. If I would quit tennis today, I think she would be okay with that as long as I continue school, and she would respect the decision. So would my dad, but my dad was always more on the tennis side, and didn't really know what was going on with my schoolwork. My mom was really behind me, pushing me, but some years he didn't even know what grade I'm in. And but he was always pushing the dream of becoming a great tennis player. He still is today. And well, he's a musician, so he's probably, that's part of why he's big on following your dreams and your passion. So I think that's what gave me a good balance. But my mom was always pushing me with schoolwork and stuff, because I probably wouldn't have been as good. So I'm really grateful for that. And then the other side with my dad being, hey, you gotta practice more. And
that's a really nice and lucky situation to have,
Yeah.
It's
definitely
nice in a very different way. Amazing. Jason, you help people also in their athletic performance, and you understand sports science in some way, right? Because you've been playing tennis for how long now?
Good question. 18 years almost.
18 years. You started when you were 3, and then more seriously when you were 10, right? That's a long time to start playing a sport. And you definitely understand sports science in a way. Otherwise, you can't excel in sports in that way. So let's say someone comes to you and says they don't know anything or much at all about athletic performance and sports science. What are some basics, building blocks that you tell them to get right so that they can become a better athlete, a sports performer, or even someone who's not looking to go pro, but wants to get better at whatever they're playing, even if it's in their yard?
I think one thing to start with is the mindset, just to note down some goals that you have, whatever it might be that you want to achieve, or we just want to get fit or get into a certain ranking position or win a certain tournament. Just to have something you work towards. Otherwise, it's going to be hard with to keep up with the healthy habits. And then another thing would be for me to really focus on the basics. I mean, I'm going to be honest, there are so many experts on sleep, nutrition, training science. Like I certainly don't have those insights, but the basics would be definitely to sleep. Sleep is a big factor for me. Always get whatever, like 7.5, 8, maybe 9 hours of sleep a night to fully recover and have the energy to go at it the next day. Nutrition is another aspect. For nutrition, I would probably say just cut out the unhealthy stuff. We've talked about it privately. The typical American diet, maybe cut out as much sugar and the sodas and all of that stuff. That would really help a lot. Maybe you don't have to, or I don't think you have to go as extreme to follow a certain kind. I think there are many pros and cons to all of them. But if you don't want to do that, you can just do the basics and cut those unhealthy things out. And then I think with exercise, training and practice, honestly, you can get a lot of education yourself, read books and listen to podcasts, but you will never get the deep insights that a true expert has. So if you have the financial resources, I would also definitely recommend getting the experts in those fields to help you write out a practice plan, a workout plan, and a nutrition plan, maybe. Yeah, to really optimize how you're approaching things.
That's amazing. What a great answer, Jason. The reason I say that is because I have somebody I train with, and he's a good buddy of mine, and he's somebody who's a really passionate mover and martial artist. He's trained in the Shaolin Temple in China. He's a black belt in Taekwondo. My friend Karan Bagri, you should check him out. But he tells me something very interesting. You know, if there's a certain goal we want to approach, let's say you want to do pistol squats, he makes me work around the pistol squat. Or let's say I got a pain on my ankle, and the pain comes when I twist a certain way. He makes you twist in another way, makes you flexible around it, and he has this philosophy of working around the goal and makes the goal achievable even more and easier. He says, you know, it's not the 1 hour that you just put in with me here, but it's how you're also living the rest of the hours, the day, the routine that we spoke about. So it sounds like you're also hitting the same point.
Yeah.
Okay, sleep. You gotta get the sleep right if you want to be a good athlete and sports performer on the field. You gotta get the nutrition right, you know, and then other areas, the mindset right, which is so interesting. Back in the day, I think sports and athletic performance psychology has changed so much, because back in the day, it was only about practicing on the field, how much time you spend on the field. But now people are going to have started talking about around it. What are you doing outside the field matters so much more.
Yeah, I mean, with athletic performance, we talked about it privately as well. I think for tennis players or also any other athlete, it's what people sometimes don't understand is that it's a 24-hour job. It's not only the time you put in practice. There are many people that I know that want to go pro, and they go out in the morning 9 to 11, play for 2 hours, then in the afternoon they might do another hour of tennis and fitness or whatever it might be, and then they think that's what they're doing to achieve the goal. But it's really when they then stay up until 2 a.m. and only get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, they don't get the full benefit of it. And the same with if they don't have the great nutrition, a good mindset, good goals. If you don't have anything aligned to that one specific goal, it's going to be hard to achieve with so many other people trying to achieve the same thing. Because there's probably, most certainly, someone out there who's aligning all these things. So it's going to be hard to keep up with those people.
That's awesome, Jason. They say if you love something and you do it professionally, it might suck out the joy of it as well. Sometimes they say that, you know. So of course you play tennis and you enjoy it a lot, but then you also started doing it professionally in a way that, you know, you went for competitions, and now you're playing for college, and you got to do practice consistently. Does it sometimes feel like, you know, the love out of tennis is being sucked out because of you having to do it, or how do you balance that?
Good question. Honestly, I don't think I've ever had that feeling too much. Of course, there are phases where you're playing poorly and you're a little frustrated and you want to. I think every athlete has been at the point of I want to quit many times, but yeah, luckily, oftentimes we don't have actually quitting. But yeah, I think it's good to it's important to stay positive, move forward, and I usually don't lose that joy. I'm just happy every time I'm on the court, and yeah, I think with me also I had a lot of injuries in the past and wasn't able to practice as consistently. So now, especially whenever I'm on the court, also when I'm on the court pain-free, it's just a great feeling of gratitude I have that I'm able to do this. So yeah, that really, I think that helps me. And for me personally, I didn't hit that wall yet of it feels like a job to me. But yeah, hopefully it never will be.
That's amazing. I hope the same. I hope the same for you. It's really amazing if you can find join something that you can do consistently and be consistent in something that you find joy in.
Yeah.
Jason, how many hours do you practice in a week?
Well, right now it's, of course, with Corona, it's a little different. Right now here in Germany, I'm trying to practice as much as possible, but it's hard to get vacant courts, and hard to align with other people who want to practice because you have those specific time slots. In college, ideally, I would practice, I would say, around 15 hours a week. Yeah, conditioning and strength and conditioning and tennis combined. But yeah, that's really the peak. To be honest, in college I had many minor injuries, and I had a big back injury when I was 17. And during Corona, it was honestly the first time where I had the time to actually take care of it and build strength around the injury, so that I can now practice as much as I want to, I would say. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting it's almost the first time that I will be hopefully able to practice 15 hours a week consistently.
That is amazing to hear. Okay, here I have another funny question for you.
Okay.
In the medical industry, there's a lot of diseases and conditions you hear about. There's a disease or a condition called tennis elbow. It's the only condition I've heard which has a sports name associated with it. I can't think of any other condition that has a sport name associated with it. Tennis elbow. Is it much spoken about when you play? Like the condition of tennis elbow, is it very common in tennis players? What is it? Do they even speak about it? I'm just curious to know.
Yeah, it's actually really common. I had it before. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know where it is. Maybe in the camera you can see it. There's one which is on the inside of the elbow, and one that's on the outside of the elbow. And one is the tennis elbow, and one is the golfer elbow. Those both exist.
Okay.
And I think for me personally, I always had a golfer elbow, and which is interesting as a tennis player, but somehow I think it's almost more common than the tennis elbow, at least in my experience. But yeah, it's a common thing among tennis players, especially when you're playing a lot. All those muscles on your forearm get tight and around the elbow. So yeah, it's a common topic, definitely.
Yeah, tennis elbow. And can it be treated? Can you get away from it, or is it a permanent condition that happens?
No, you can get it treated. It's mostly I don't want to say anything medically wrong here, but I think it's if you treat the muscles a lot and they get when it's bad, gets really tight, so you have to loosen it up again. And yeah, it's just usually it stays with you for a long time because it keeps happening because you're playing so much tennis. And even when you have a tennis elbow, it usually doesn't keep you from playing. It's just painful. So people usually keep practicing, and it's hard to get away from it that way.
Nice. Jason, what are some top lessons that the sport of tennis has taught you in your life?
I think college is a little different because it's also a team sport, but usually in tennis you're playing for yourself, and it's an individual sport. So that really taught me a lot to deal with problems myself. Just many occasions as an 11 or 12-year-old where you feel helpless on the court when you're really playing bad in somewhere in a foreign country. You know, you've driven 10 or 12 hours to a tournament and you're just playing horrible. And yeah, through those many experiences and matches, you just get a lot of self-awareness. You can deal with problems, and also the competitive part. I feel like whenever I approach a new thing right now that is really meaningful to me, I just want to get the full insight. I want to almost be the best in it every time. I just want, or at least the best version of myself. Whether it's I'm reading about nutrition, then I just want to keep hearing about new stuff in nutrition, and I just want to get the best insight I can. And I think that drive for improvement is probably what would help me the most in all aspects of life.
That's amazing, man. I really love the point of how you said, you're alone on the court in many ways in tennis, actually. And that taught you how to face challenges by yourself. Sports is truly an amazing way to learn about life and grow as a person and to face life. And it's amazing that you have that insight and you could do that through tennis.
Yeah.
Listen, so amazing to hear from you. Anything that you would like to say finally before we end the show? It was short, succinct, but power-packed. Anything else that you would like to say?
Good question. Honestly, I think we've covered a lot. I think it was great. It was awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I always think it's super interesting to talk about these topics with like-minded people. And I can just recommend people who listen to your podcast. I'm sure they're interested in those topics in general, and to what really changed my life and my way to look at things is, for one, meditation. It's interesting whenever you hear a podcast like yours or some of the other, they all do it. It seems like it's something all of them have in common, just a great self-awareness. And just to go out there and seek for the knowledge that you can get so easily in these days. There's so many free podcasts out there. You can just Google whatever you want to learn about, and you'll find millions of hits. So just to actually go out there and seek for the thing you're looking for.
That's amazing, Jason. But that brings me to a curious question. So tell me a little bit more about meditation, how that's helped you, and what's been your journey in meditation? What kind of meditation do you do?
I'm still a beginner, probably, to be honest. Sometimes I try to just do meditation for myself, but usually it's it's a guided meditation. I often do. I'm sure you know him, Jay Shetty. He had an Instagram live series, and they recorded it and put it on YouTube. So I usually keep going through those, because it really, I think especially for me as a beginner, it really helps me to get some rhythm in it. I think it's difficult if you bless you, if you start by yourself, and it really helped me get some insight of how to do it and how to structure it. And now I'm trying to do the stuff he does with visualization, breath work, trying to whatever I might need in that, I feel like I need that day, I'm trying to do that myself. Either visualize myself on some nice beach somewhere in Florida, or wherever it might be, or do some breath work. So that's my meditation journey so far. But I'll try to explore some other kinds. Maybe you can give me some insight here. What are you doing?
We can speak about it, and I think there are some amazing areas that you could, avenues that you could approach that have helped me dramatically change the way I am and as a person and my experience. Awesome, Jason. Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad that sports people and athletic performers like you are using the power of meditation and visualization to even further enhance your performance. And it's so needed for somebody who is juggling so many things all at once. That mental balance and clarity is the utmost. When you're studying at Ivy League with challenging classes, along with being a sports person on the field. Amazing. Jason, thank you so much for coming and sharing your insights with us. I'm happy I got somebody from Germany for our podcast. You're the first, but not the last. And hopefully we'll continue this international exploration of having guests and speaking to them and getting insights from them. Much love, Jason. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. It was great to be here, and yeah, have a great day.